So it was that was an interesting meeting with the guys here at Open Road Cycles. It really was. I'm really glad that I listened to the advice of a friend and brought my bike up here to these guys. I'm really glad I did that. Because I think this is where I'm gonna have it fixed. Bringing it up here tomorrow, dropping it off.
What's up? J Street Moto here. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following things, this is part 2 of a two-part series dealing with the problem that I'm having with third gear on my 2018 Harley Davidson Road King Special. Darla is what I refer to her as. So let me back up a little bit, because by the time this video comes out, part 1 would have been released a week ago on the previous Tuesday, and that was the result of what happened the prior Tuesday. So really it's been 2 weeks that this video has been coming together. I decided that let me back up a second. And first off, thanks for watching the channel. If you dig the content and you like it, please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and click the notification bell. All those things help the channel. Anyway, back to the story, so to speak. So I've been having this problem with third gear. A couple of weeks ago, I took the bike to Open Road Cycles in Denver, North Carolina, and I really had a good connection with AJ and Leo, who are the two owners there. It's a father-son team. When I took it in there and they, AJ rode the bike and came back, it was kind of humorous. He walked in and he's like, all right, that's a unique problem. And it's a very specific problem in terms of the circumstances in which it happens. For those of you that are new and haven't watched any of the previous videos, I'll catch you up real quick. So in third gear and in third gear only, when I have my throttle at more than like 40%, the bike skips. It's like the gear is slipping, and it only happens in third gear. And so this had baffled me for a while, because I couldn't figure out, it started happening about a month ago, but I couldn't figure out what on the bike could fail that would cause those specific circumstances, is probably the best way to put it. So I took it to a Harley Davidson dealership, had their master mechanic ride it. He was, I'm sure he's knowledgeable. I'm sure he's, good at what he does. He was unwilling to kind of give me his thoughts about what it possibly could be. AJ and Leo were not. We sat around their shop and talked about it for a while before I dropped the bike off there. So it was interesting. It's that kind of place where you can go hang out, talk to the mechanics, tell them your stupid ideas, and they'll entertain them, basically, is a good way to put it. No matter how crazy it is, they'll entertain it. But they also give you information. And I, as a rider and as someone that likes to work on my own bike, I appreciate that. So in any case, let's fast forward. So 2 weeks ago today, I'm talking today being the day that this video dropped, was when I first met these guys and took my bike in there. They then called me back and told me, when the bike was torn apart, and that I could come in at any time and they would show me what is wrong. So when I went in, I took some video clips of it, and you're going to see those video clips here in a minute. I want to kind of tee up what they are and what they show. So the first video is going to show the transmission out of the bike. It's going to show what is wrong, and ultimately what we found out was the main bearing in the transmission is not it's not seized. That's not the right word to use, but it's also not behaving the way it's supposed to. So there's a lot of resistance in the main bearing, and the prevalent thought is that the main bearing having that there's an adjuster on the primary chain going between the clutch and the motor that as it puts more tension and can't release that tension, it results in the best way to put it is it puts extra tension on this piece called a shifter fork. And in this case, it's the shifter fork that's between third and fourth gear specifically. And so the first video shows that shifter fork and shows how it got worn down. I do not have a video of the main bearing. However, the guys at Open Road are keeping all my old parts for me so that I can bring them home and maybe do a video later that goes into a little more detail about all this stuff and kind of let you see what these parts looked like when they came out of the bike, is the best way to put it. In case you're new to Harley Davidson, the 2018 model that I'm riding is a Milwaukee 8 engine that's 107 cubic inches, and it is completely stock. With the exception of some slip-on mufflers, I've done nothing to the motor in this bike. So in any case, the first video shows the transmission, shows the shifter fork, and shows the damage done to the shifter fork. The second video is a short clip just kind of showing Darla torn apart, what has to come off in order for you to be able to pull the transmission out of it, so the transmission's not in the bike. The third video is just giving you a demonstration of how much metal and metal shavings were actually in the transmission that were captured on the case. There's also a quick snip of AJ and Leo, who are two people that own the shop. And then the last video, the fourth video that I'm going to show you, is my primary laying on a bench. The compensator is also there. It's laid out, and Leo talks about the adjuster and how it sort of works. At the end of the day, we decided to fix all the parts that were damaged, including the bearings, and I talk about that in the short snips, right? So we're going to replace the shifter fork, we're going to replace the third and fourth gear rings, we're going to replace the main bearing and the other bearings that are in the transmission. But also, while they're in there and while they have it apart, I went ahead and decided to do a compensator elimination. So what that means is we're going to get rid of that compensating gear and instead replace it with a machined gear instead of the pack that comes in the Milwaukee 8s from the dealership or from the manufacturer. So when I get the bike back, it's going to be a little different. There's going to be a little bit of stuff in it that is well, there's going to be things that have been done to it that were different than when I took it in there, and I'm interested to see how they affect it. While I was there, we also talked about funny enough, I mean, I'm sure it's like this in any metropolitan area. The guys that build motors that are good at it know the other people that build motors that are good at it, and it just so happens AJ and Leo know the guy that built David's motor out for him, and so, you know, we were talking about that, and AJ happened to mention to me that both, you know, I mean, the Open Road Cycles gets their stuff from this guy, so does I'm pretty sure Southeast Customs, which is Rick Green's shop, gets his stuff from these guys. There's a guy that machines cams up in Mooresville, and if you're not familiar with the Charlotte area, Mooresville is about, I don't know, 40 minutes, maybe 25, I think 25 miles from downtown Charlotte. There's a guy named Jim that owns a machine shop up there, and he designs and makes cams. And so we were talking about that, and AJ mentioned a specific cam he just came out with, and the belief is, or at least the expectation is, that with a tuner, with that cam, with a high flow air breather, and exhaust setup, and a dyno tune, of course, I could potentially get about 120 horsepower and about 125 pound-feet of torque out of this motorcycle. So basically their version of Stage 2, which is way better numbers. If they can actually achieve it, that's way better numbers than what you'd get on a Stage 2 at a Harley dealership. So I'm really kicking around the idea of potentially going back to them and getting that work done, because I think that might be beneficial to me. But without further ado, I'm going to show you the 4 clips now and let you kind of hear the narrative that goes with it. And hopefully you found the discussion around this whole problem from beginning to where we're at now helpful and interesting. I hope you have. And again, if you have, subscribe to the channel, like the content, and share with your friends. Click that notification bell so you know when stuff comes out. But pretty much, I have new content coming out every Tuesday. So without further ado, I'll show you the bike torn apart, and I will show you, the problem that was found. All right, there's the transmission out of Darla. And this, what did you say it was called, AJ?
That is your shifter fork.
My shifter fork is what's causing the problem in 3rd gear.
Going from 3rd to 4th gear.
And you can see where it is. Oh, I can feel where it's worn down. That's what's causing the play and making this gear pop out. We're going to replace this gear, this, and do the bearings. And that's going to fix me, hopefully, and get me there. That's what it should look like. That's what it does look like. So
different.
that's the problem. So
that's the kitten.
And there's what the transmission looks like when it's out of the bike. And here's Darla torn apart. There's where the transmission came out. And there's where they pull it out. And there was all sorts of metal in the transmission. But yeah, there it is. That's the hole. And right here is all the metal that was, coming off inside there. Not good. Not good at all. There's AJ. There's Leo.
It fits like this. And what it does is it adjusts. This slides
Okay.
and pushes up on the adjuster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem with the adjuster is once it goes up, it can't come back.
Oh, shit.
So it locks in that position until it gets so tight that it takes the chain and pushes it against the clutch basket so hard that the chain becomes so tight it pulls it that way, actually, once it gets hot.
Okay.
It front loads that bearing. It front loads that big bearing I gave you.
Yeah.
And that's your main transmission bearing. Now, they have changed that bearing from the older ones. The older ones used to have a double bearing with a...
What are these?
That's the compensating sprocket. That's all the pieces in the compensating.
Really?
So, what we do is we eliminate all this. We put a gear in. You don't need a compensating sprocket. All that was for originally when Harley first... Here's another one here. You see that? They get all destroyed. We put an actual gear in. What the gear does is it just lets it ride. You don't have a compensating sprocket in a Sportster. All your big high performance bikes don't have a compensating sprocket. They're belt drive and go, or they're chain drive and go. And your clutch takes up everything when you take off.
Oh yeah.
So it's completely.
Well, and that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. The next one coming out, I haven't decided yet. I've got, I know I'm going to be picking the bike up this week. Today is, well, by the time this video drops, it's Tuesday. I think I'm going to pick the bike up on either Wednesday or Thursday. So either next week's video is going to be me picking the bike up, or I did record some video over the weekend. I went to Juan's house and he and I tore apart Lola, his 2020 Street Glide, in order to replace the speakers in the fairing because he had blown them a while ago. He had blown the Rockford Fosgate speakers that he had in there and got replacements through the warranty, and what he put in the bike was the stock speakers from Harley. So we took the front end of the bike apart so that we could replace those speakers, and I did some videoing while we were there. So I don't know whether the next video is going to be the one of us replacing speakers in a 2020 Street Glide, or of me being elated and out of complete mourning for having my Darla back. It's going to be either one of those two. So thanks for watching. I hope that you found some use in this video. And always, ride safe.